We decided to do the clockwise route, and that was going to give us an easier first day to get to our camp spot. First stretch of trail is actually shared between Chain Lake Loop Trail and the Ptarmigan Ridge Trail. So the trail is very well maintained. There's a lot of crushed rock for a lot of the trail. There was a little bit of mud, and it tended to be one person wide. And so whenever you encountered people, you'd have to kind of step out of the way and let whoever was going uphill go past it. You would go along that for about a mile, so about 1.6 kilometers, and then you take a right-hand turn off that. You start descending down off the ridge and into a basin where you're going to encounter the first of the chain lakes, which is Mazama Lake. We saw a couple camp spots there, but we weren't sure we wanted to stop there, and we continued on to Iceberg Lake, which is really gorgeous, beautiful colors, and continued on beyond that to Hayes Lake, and that one also very beautiful. And we continued. There were a few spots there that we saw, and we continued even beyond that to Arbuthnot Lake. I actually went around the backside of that, and there was one camp spot that was back there that kind of overlooked a drop off to the valley behind. But since there were 4 of us, 4 different tents, we actually backtracked a little bit, and there's a little trail that goes between the last 2 lakes, kind of facing towards Hayes Lake, and we actually decided to take 2 different spots there.
Day 2 of our adventure started, getting up early in the morning, having a little bit of breakfast, and then making our way towards Ptarmigan Ridge. That would mean we were coming out of the lakes in the valley that we were kind of camping out that evening, and kind of backtracking back to the Ptarmigan Ridge turnoff along Chain Lakes Trail. Once we got to that turnoff, immediately there was beautiful views of Mount Chookson behind us as we moved towards Mount Baker. A little bit different this day. It was quite busy on the trail. A lot of people were out early in the morning going for a walk. You had all kinds of hikers. You had, serious hikers with backpacks probably looking for other campsites, and families just going for what seemed like a Sunday afternoon walk. Ptarmigan Ridge was a beautiful hike. We had beautiful fall colors. We had, animals all out. I think we saw some pika, ptarmigans, of course, crawling around. Starting from around Hayes Lake, where we camped, to Ptarmigan Ridge and back was a pretty long day. It took us about 8 hours going at a pretty moderate pace. We had a dog with us, so we were taking a lot of breaks and kind of really trying to take in the sights. Distance was about 20 kilometers round trip. I think it was 19 kilometers, which is around 11.8 miles round trip. On the way up on the Ptarmigan Ridge Trail, we did see a couple people with backpacks. Some of those folks were planning to camp at an unnamed lake in the area. A couple hours into the trail, there is a lake there where some people were pitching tents. Some of the people on the trail were also carrying skis. They planned to go up Mount Baker, I think, to the portals, and then ski down for a little bit of action early in the season. We followed along that path towards the portals east, but right past Camp Kaiser or Kisser, there was a lot of snow on the ground. Beautiful sort of views again. We stopped shortly after that. It was getting a little bit slippery. We didn't have our crampons or any kind of traction devices, and it was around 2:30 p.m. and we wanted to get back before it got too dark, so we kind of turned back at that point. But yeah, the trail throughout was quite busy. To be honest, one of the busiest trails we've been to. It's a narrow trail, so there was a lot of passing back and forth, and then people, again, of all different types of hikers. A lot of people brought their dogs, so yeah, it was a very busy trail.
I highly recommend this hike to anybody who's looking for beautiful scenery, very rewarding, and again, depending on your skill level, you can find something that will suit your needs in this particular hike. So hope you guys get out there, and we'll see you guys outside.
Third day, we decided to rest a little bit and take it easy at the beginning. So we got up, we had some breakfast, and we just relaxed, on the lake. We wanted to make a plan on what we should do because the next day we knew that it was going to rain. So we wanted to leave that day. So we wanted to get back to complete the loop, the Chain Lakes Loop Trail, to go to the parking lot, leave our heavy backpacks, and possibly do another peak. That was our initial plan. Then when we actually left early in the afternoon, we continued on the Chain Loops Trail, and we all of a sudden we started climbing up Herman's Pass, and that to me it looked pretty steep. When we got to the very top of Herman's Pass, it was beautiful. There were quite a few people taking pictures, and I even saw a family with like a 2-year-old kid. It was just beautiful. Lots of people there. This is where we took a little break for a little sightseeing. Then we continued down. From the top, it was just down to a lake, and then we reached a parking lot. That was not our parking lot, unfortunately, and we had to walk a little bit extra to our parking lot. The total distance before we got to the parking lot was about 7 kilometers overall on the way back, which is about 4 and some odd miles. It took us approximately 4 hours to complete it, but the very end, when we got to the first parking lot, we kind of took a little break because it was intense. And then from that parking lot to Artist Point, our parking lot, it was straight uphill, and it was very, very interesting. There were stairs that were made out of wooden chains, and there were quite a few of them, and quite a few back and forth zigzag trails until we reached back to the parking lot. So overall it took us close to 4 hours, and with our heavy backpacks, it was a lot of fun. It was difficult. We thought that we could get there very fast so we could do another peak, but we just called it a day at that point. It was fun. I recommend it for families. The temperatures there were great during the day. During the night, the water was actually freezing in some spots. So the first night it was super cold at night. Everybody had all their layers on. Second night it was actually warmer and nicer, so we could hang around the camp a little longer as well, and we enjoyed it. So it is recommended for everybody, in my opinion.